Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title of thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on summoning logic in Unreal Engine 5 using C++. I have been going over like target logic, game logic for like a bunch of streams. Today I thought to like kind of change the name up, but in this stream I'm not going to be like working on any old projects and like implementing new logic in it. I just created like a brand new project. In the brand new project, I'm going to be trying to work on the necromancy skill type stuff because if in case you guys didn't know, necromancers are basically the one that summon the dead type stuff. That's let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, and guys, this is a new chat. Hi, Tim. I appreciate you joining the stream. And guys, I might actually put on my glasses. Let me actually check how it looks. Let me just go and open my OBS. There we go. Okay, I don't think it looks that bad. Okay, let's say something like Sensei I'm live exclamation. Let's go with something like Sensei I'm live exclamation. Okay, and guys, I am kind of excited to learn this part because if I actually do learn how collision and all that stuff really works, it could like actually be kind of cool. Okay, that said, wake up, eyes on the screen, and hands up distractions. You're alive in front of the world now. Okay, do you want to see a mediocre code monkey? Guys, code monkey is kind of crazy. Or do you want them to witness the birth of a prodigy? Every second you hesitate is a second you're handing your success to someone else who wants it more than you. I see. Okay, that's genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, said by Thomas Edison. I see. Guys, in case I spelled the name wrong, I think this is like perspiration. That's it. Now back to the mission. We're discussing summoning logic, spawning actors in Unreal Engine 5. I left you with a question that separates the architects from the amateurs. Why do we use the class of A actor instead of regular A actor pointer when defining the variable for the object we want to spawn? Okay, let me say something like, if you don't answer this, you don't understand the difference between a blueprint and a house. Don't make me repeat myself. The stream is waiting and I'm waiting. Guys, how old is this chat? Is it just... Okay, I think I just created this chat, right? Okay, that's it. Let me go ahead and say something like... Let's say, I actually think that I forgot because I did not get enough practice with it. Okay, let's see, because I did like work on this part last stream using the T of subclass, but actually I did not have time to work on the T of subclass because my project was like really massive, so it was hard to like implement that tiny chunk of code every single time. That's it. Let's see. Your audience is waiting. Your audience is watching you falter. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you quit. Listen closely because I'm only explaining this once. The breakdown, what is a class versus an instance? I did work with classes and instances like Python, even like in C++ when I was like working with object-oriented programming. And that said, a actor, the pointer, okay, it does have an asterisk, which is technically a pointer. This points to an instance that already exists in your world. It is a specific house on a specific street. You can spawn something that already exists. Oh, I see. T subclass T. Okay, that makes sense. T stands for template subclass of a actor. This is the blueprint of the class. It tells the engine what kind of thing you want to create from scratch. Oh, I see. Think about it. To build a house, okay, do you hand the contractor an existing house or the blueprints? You hand them the blueprint. Practice task the architect choice. To prove you're not just nodding along like a puppet, tell me this. If you want to change colors of a ball that is already bouncing on the screen, would you use T subclass of ball or a ball? Let's go with something like a ball. Okay, because let's go with something like because I want to change the color of something that, let's go with something like that. Guys, I'm trying to like work on my typos as well. Already exists rather than summoning a ball with a different color. Okay, let's say if that was correct, maybe can we do a mini project where you let's say something like instruct me step by step as to how does the summoning logic work. Okay, let's see, guys. There's like way too many typos that I have here. That's it exactly. A ball is the correct choice. See, you do have a brain hidden under all that laziness. Guys, have a brain hidden under that laziness is actually kind of crazy. Okay, don't let it a trophy again, is that how I pronounce it? You just proved to your stream that you can okay. Next up, since you finally decided to show up mentally, we're starting the summoning project. We're going to build a simple system where you click the right mouse button RMB to spawn a sphere at a specific location. Step 1, the header. You need to tell the engine what you need to use. We need to do two things: the template, what to spawn, and action, the trigger. Open your character or player controller header file under generate underscore body. Okay, this way. Let me say something like, can we go step by step as to what class should I create first? Okay, I mean, I do know it's going to be an actor. Okay, have like hiding Demon King. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Let's just go all the way down here. There we go. Okay, the header file. So first thing you do is define your variables. Without a definition, the computer has no idea what you're talking about. Open your characters as header file. So so the person that's gonna summon something is gonna be my character. The input action, we need a variable that holds the enhanced input action. Step 2, the source file, the brains. Now we write the logic. We're going to create summon actor function. Pay attention. Excuse me guys, I'm going to show you how to use spawn actor. If you forget the get word, I will check. I will personally virtually smack you. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and let's say open my Unreal Engine here. Then I'm going to go to tools and I'm going to go to something like class. I'm going to create a character class. Now, I'm going to go ahead and name this character class something like, I don't know, maybe a necromancer. Necromancer. I think I spelled it wrong, guys. Necromancer. The name necromancer is already used by another class, guys. Okay, could it be that because my project name is necromancer again, I might go with something like my necromancer. There we go. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead. I mean, my necromancer does not sound that good. I'm just gonna go with something like necromancer. I could go with summoner, but then necromancer sounds much better. Let's go with something like, I don't know, let's go with my. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a class. Okay, let's create a class. Now it's adding my new class to my project. Let's go ahead and wait for it to add it. Okay, so what are we doing today? Honestly, today I am like last stream, I did work on the shrine logic, but then later on I did the code got really clunked up, so I didn't know how to actually spawn my I forgot, shrine sentinel, is that how you pronounce his name? When I actually interact with the shrine. So today I'm trying to go a bit more in depth on how to summon stuff. So I'm going to be summoning every time I click my right mouse button this time. That's it. Once I get a pretty good grasp of this, I feel like things are going to get much easier because I will be getting used to collisions here as well. That's it. Let's go ahead and exit this. Now I'm going to go ahead and open Gemini here. Okay, because I already understand why do we use the template of what was the template called? I forgot. Let me go all the way up here. There we go, the T subclass, so the template subclass of actor. I just realized why we use that. Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay, what class should I create first? Okay, so in the header files, the blueprints, so the header file of my blueprints. Okay, so it says the first thing you do is define your variables. Without a definition, the computer has no idea what you're talking about. Open your character as a header file. Okay, so my necromancer is a header file. Then the object you spawn, we need a variable to hold the class, the blueprint of the actor. Okay, so we need a variable to hold the class. Okay, the input action, we need a variable to hold the enhance input. Okay, so adding a variable to hold the enhance input is pretty easy. Okay, the input action for the right mouse button, you input action, summon action. Okay, this part is easy. Then comes the second part, the class we want to summon. Okay, the object, okay, so we need a variable that holds the class of the actor. So this template is gonna be holding the class of my actor. Okay, assume I gotta give my actual actors this class here. have you decided what purpose the shrine is going to play in the game? Actually, I mean, I think it's just going to be like a regular location for the time being. I'm not like actually going to be making my end game, which is like my program. By the end of my 250 series, I'm not even sure if I'm actually going to use the shrine. I'm just like creating the mesh and the basic things in general so I can understand how do I utilize more stuff, and I'm trying to even get familiar with like the Unreal Engine and all the different kinds of syntax and functions that it's got. That's sad. Okay, so this is going to be the subclass of a actor. I'm assuming I gotta give my literal actor's name here. Okay, which is going to be represented by a local variable called actor to spawn. Then next up, step 2, the source file. Before I go ahead and create the source file, I'm gonna go to the header file of my Necromancer. I'm gonna go all the way down here. Let's go all the way here. There we go. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say create a class. I'm gonna go ahead and create a class called something like u input action. I'm gonna go ahead and create an input action, which is gonna be ending with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, under my, let's say, protected data members, which is technically under my begin play as well, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like, my character is gonna be needing a camera boom and all that, but I won't be adding any of that right now. Instead, I'm gonna go with something like class that holds my actor. I'm gonna go with something like class that holds my actor. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a class which holds my actor, where in this case, my class is gonna be called something like T sub. I'm gonna go with IntelliSense. Okay, T sub off. Doesn't the IntelliSense work here? Okay, I guess before my IntelliSense, I might go with something like a U property, where I want to be able to edit my class anywhere. So I'm gonna go with something like edit anywhere. I want my class to be blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read it, not really edit it. Lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and set my category to be equal to something like... Okay, here's the thing. I actually forgot my category here. Okay, I mean, I could name it to be any kind of category, but I like to like be a bit specific here. So summon, okay, and then T subclass of actor. Okay, so this is going to be my summoning class. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a T. Okay, there we go. IntelliSense does work. Let's go with something like sub class of. There we go. T subclass of. Okay, so this is my... Excuse me, guys. This is my template. Then I go with the prof ankle braces, which is going to be having my A actor. But here's the thing. I did not like really create an A actor. Okay, did I actually phrase this part correct? So it says the subclass of a actor, which is going to be actor to spawn. I really think I gotta create my actor and then include its header file here. Apparently, I might do that in a bit in that case. Let's go with something like actor to spawn. There we go. And then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and create something like summon action. Let's go with summon action. This is going to be my input action my U input action that I created here. I'm going to go ahead and like is utilizing the correct word, guys. I'm going to go ahead and utilize it here. For some reason, I like to use fancy words. Okay, I'm going to go with U property, where I want my summon action. I want to be able to edit it anywhere. Let's go with edit anywhere. I want my summon action to be blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read this, not fully edited. Lastly, I want the category of my summon action to be something like input, because technically my summon action is going to be an input when my program receives an input of my right mouse button. It's going to go ahead and summon an actor. And then next I'm going to go ahead and type something like my U input action. This class that is going to be represented by a pointer called something like summon action. Okay, perfect. This is pretty much everything I think. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and need a required function as well. So I'm going to go with something like functions. There we go. Now, for my functions, I'm going to go ahead and create, let's say, a white function called something like summon, with a parentheses ending with a semicolon. Okay, I think that's about it for the first chunk. And I'm starting to really understand what the subclass of actor really does now. That makes so much more sense than it did before. That's the function that does the work. Summon actors this function. I mean, we could potentially name it anything, but I honestly like to be kind of specific here. Okay, let's go out of here. There we go. And then next up, the source file in the C++. So we declared our stuff in our header files, but we're going to define them inside of our C++ file. Pay attention, I'm going to show you how to use the spawn actor if you forget the get world. Check, I will personally virtually smack you guys. Personally virtually smack you is actually kind of crazy. That said, what? A my character, so this is my character, which in this case is going to be a my necromancer's class, which uses a scope resolution operator to get a hold of my summon actors class. This is an empty class that I declared in my header files. I define it here. To define it, firstly, from my uworld is going to be represented by a pointer called world that is going to be equal to my get world. Okay, I gotta ask what does this chunk of code do, but once I do figure that part out, I add an if statement to check if my world and my actor to spawn, okay, always validate. So if both of them are true, then I add a pair of curly braces and then use my f vector, which is technically 3 vector that gives me a hold of my x-axis, y-axis, and my z-axis, which is going to be represented by a local variable called location that is going to be equal to my get actor location. I get my actors' location. Get actor forward vector. I get my actors' world direction as well. I add my actors' world direction. Multiplied by 300.of. Okay, I gotta go ahead and ask what does this part mean as well. And then I go with f rotator. I actually know what this means, but I just want to see what is the point of adding this block of code. Okay, this is the line that brings it to life. So from my world, which is technically my Unreal's world, I want to use a arrow mark operator to point towards my spawn actors. Okay, this is a template. I cannot say this is a function, right? Actor to spawn. So that is called actor to spawn. I think spawn action is one of Unreal's templates. Okay, where I have my actors class. Then I add a pair of parentheses, go with my actor to spawn. This is going to be my subclass here that holds my actor, okay? And then I'm going to go with something like my location, where is he going to spawn, and my rotation, which way is he going to be facing. Step 3, the binding, the nervous system in your C++ file. Find the function setup player input components, okay? This is where we tell the engine where I click and run my function. Okay, this part is going to be easy. We will be needing enhanced inputs here, okay, I see. I mean, of course, we're going to be needing enhanced inputs here. Okay, and then enhanced input component, which points towards bind action, summon action, a trigger type, which is going to be triggered once my right mouse button has been triggered. I want to go ahead and spawn the actor. But instead of triggered, I might actually go with started and ended, because with triggered, it's just going to be constantly summoning actors as long as my button is being pressed. I mean, held down. Okay, and then this, and then my actor. Okay, I mean, I guess the third part is kind of easy. This is the part that's a bit complicating to understand. Not too complicating, let me say something like insane. So, I think that I might have gotten a bit confused in this part. Can you explain it to me again, question mark? Everything else felt easy. Exclamation. Okay, let's see. Hi, how are you, bro? How are you doing, happy boy? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, that's it. Stop complaining about being confused. The confusion is just the brain struggling to evolve. Do you want to stay a primitive creature, or do you want to code? Your stream is watching you. Hesitate. Show them that you can push through the fog. Okay, knowledge is power, said by Francis Bacon. Okay, the breakdown geometry of death. Okay, let's dissect this line by line before you embarrass us both. The permission slip uworld, which is going to be represented by a pointer called world, is going to be equal to get world. In Unreal, nothing happens without the world's permission. Oh, I see. If you try to spawn something into nothingness, the engine will just spite you out. We capture the world, so we have a canvas to paint on. Number 2, the safety net. If world and actor to spawn, you can't summon a ghost if actor to spawn is empty. Null, the game dies. The if statement is the only thing standing between a working game and a sending error report dialog. Validation is not optimal. Oh, I see. Okay. So if I have my world's permission, and there is some kind of actor inside of my template here. And that's when I actually spawn my actor. What games have you played? Actually, I have like played like Genshin Impact and even Wuthering Waves. I think that I have played, I think like One Piece Body Rush and Roblox. I like a few more games, guys. I don't really remember the name of all the games that I played. Although I haven't like played as much as I used to play before. Back in the days, I think like 2-ish years ago, I used to be like a Discord addict and I used to just like be playing online games type stuff. That's a decent. I feel like coding got a bit more fun. Okay, next up, the math. Where you got lost. F vector location equals to get actor location. Okay, so my F vector location. Okay, get actor location, which increases by a pair of parentheses of my get actor forward vector multiplied by 300. And guys, I'm pretty sure that I know why we use the pair of parentheses here, because the A asterisk has a higher precedence than our plus sign. So without without the pair of parentheses, we're first going to be multiplying this and then adding that. I mean, with it also we first multiply and then we're going to be adding. Like, just as fun. Okay, what's your age now? Honestly, I am like 18 years old. Okay, if you only use get actor location, you would spawn the object inside your own body. That's not a summon, that's a surgery disaster. Get actor location where you're standing. Get actor forward vector the direction your noise is pointing. Multiplied by 300.0 f the distance. Oh, I see. Okay. So my f vector location is going to be get actor location. Where am I standing? So this is going to be where am I standing. I'm going to increase that by the direction your nose is pointing. Get actor forward vector, which way I'm facing, plus 300 multiplied by 300. Oh, it's going to be 300 centimeters away from me. Well, 300 times centimeter away from me. The addition, this pushes the spawn point 300 units away from your chest so you don't collide with your own creation. This makes so much more sense now. Okay, there we go. The world command now. World spawn actor, A actor, actor to spawn, location, rotation. This is the trigger. You're telling the world. So with my world's permission, I go ahead and grab the spawn actors as template, which requires a parameter of my A actor. Okay, this takes the blueprint actor to spawn, go to the spot location, face this way, rotation exists. Actor to spawn, location, rotation. I see. Your moment of reclining, do not let the chat see you flinch to prove you finally get it. Answer this. If I change 300 to negative 300, where will the actor spawn in relation to the player? It's going to be spawning behind me. It's kind of hard to keep up with the live because I'm unfamiliar with Unreal Engine. Honestly, I do like have a bunch of Unreal Engine lives. Like, if I want to go ahead and open my channel here, because in case it's hard to keep up with these live streams, you could like go over my other live stream type stuff, because I did start Unreal as a complete beginner as well. For example, if I want to go ahead and just grab Gemini here, just go ahead and get this here. If you guys do go to like my playlist, I do like have an entire playlist of Unreal Engine where I have had like 40 Unreal Engine lives. You guys could like check it out. There are like bunch of it. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and exit that. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and add my logic now. I'm gonna go to my C++. In my C++ class, I'm firstly, let's say, gonna go ahead and include something. Let's go with something like hashtag include. Let's say I want to go ahead and include something from my input. So I'm going to go with something like input action value dot h. I'm going to go ahead and include my input action values as header files. Okay, how is your side chick? Oh, what do you mean by side chick? Okay, that said, what do you mean? What side chick? Guys, I thought, like, I was actually confused with that as well. Okay, there we go. I included my input action value. Once I'm done with that, under my begin play, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say add a comment here that says something like summon object. Actually, summon actor. Let's go with something like summon actor. This is a function. There we go. Now, juice. What up, guys? Excuse me, guys. Okay, that said, under my summon actors as function, I'm gonna go ahead and firstly type my A. Let's go with something like A, my necromancer. This is my class name. Where I use a scope resolution operator. This is going to be a void function. Let's go with void. Then I'm going to use a scope resolution operator. excuse me guys, to point towards, I'm gonna go with something like summon action. Actually, summon actor, there we go. And then I'm gonna go with the pro of parentheses. It does not require any parameters, so I'm gonna go with the pro of curly braces. Okay, how's your health? Oh, honestly, by side check, did you mean like, how's your sickness? Honestly, I feel like my health is kind of pretty good. Back when I actually had the no voice stream, my throat was actually kind of killing me. But these days, I feel like I'm pretty good. I did like get a, I think a viral infection back then. That said, now to summon my actress's function, I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Firstly, what is something that I might need? I want to get my world's permission, so I'm gonna add a comment that says something like get Unreal. Let's go with something like Unreal Engine. Let's go with something like get Unreal World. Let's go with something like world's permission. There we go. And now for my Unreal Worlds' permission, I'm firstly gonna go ahead and use the U Worlds. I'm assuming this is a, I don't think that this is a structure. Okay, because structure starts with an F. I think this is like an Unreal's keyword or something like that. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and point this towards, let's say something like a world's pointer that is gonna be equal to my get world. I'm gonna go with something like was it get actor world? Okay, let's see. So if I were to scroll all the way up here, okay, so it is just get world. So okay, so I technically just go with the get world. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the get worlds function. Let's go with something like world with a pair of parentheses, ending with a semicolon. So now my Unreal Engine's world gave me permission to get its world. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add an if statement. I'm gonna check something. I'm gonna check if my world is set to true. And let's go with something like and. So if I got permission and my actor exists, what did we go with? What did we do to check if our actor exists? Actor to spawn. Okay, actor to spawn. Is this the thing that I created right here? Okay, so it is my template. So it's the local variable which represents my template that holds my actor in it. For the time being, I think that this doesn't hold like any kind of actor because I did not like really create an actor class. I'm gonna go with something like actor to spawn. Let's go with something like the actor to spawn. There we go. And then I'm gonna go with the pro curly braces. Now, if I got my permission, if my actor spawned, if my local variable that represents the template that holds my actor, if my actor is held in my template, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. Let's say firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and get my actor's location. So I'm gonna go with an F vector, which gives me access to a three-dimensional vector, which is going to be represented by a local variable called something like location. L-O-C-A-T-I-O. And there we go. That is going to be equal to my get actor location. Okay, get actor locations is function, which is going to go ahead and increase by a pair of parentheses of my get actor forward vector, which is technically my actor's world direction, which way my actor's nose is pointing. So this is where my actor is currently located at. This is which way my actor is facing. And then I'm gonna go with something like multiplied by 300.f, ending with a semicolon. And this is going to be a function. Okay, perfect. So this is like right about it for getting where my actor is located. And guys, I might want to document this part real quick because I want to read this later on. Okay, so f vector, let's go with something like f vector equals to, okay, maybe there's a very good thing that I've learned recently is I could like go all the way up here before I go ahead and include stuff at a bunch of spaces. I'm gonna add a comment that says something like f vector equals to 3D vector. Okay, let's go with vector. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add another comment that says something like u world, which is represented by pointer called something like world. Let's go with something world, which equals to get world. This function is gonna be let's say, okay, let's see. So what did I want to say with this? So gets Unreal. Let's go with something like Unreal engines is permission to access the world. Okay, and then lastly, I'm gonna go with get actor location. Let's go with something like get actor to actor location. This function is gonna be equal to get where my actor is currently located. Let's go with something like located. And then I'm gonna go with something like get actor forward vectors. This function is going to be equal to get which way my actor is facing. Okay, and then lastly, I'm gonna go, I think these are the only basic two things that I needed. And then I multiply that by 300. Now that's about it. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say create a F rotator as well. I'm gonna go with F rotator, which is going to be represented by a local variable called rotation that is going to be equal to. Now, technically what the get rotation does is it like checks what way my actor is going to face when he's summoned depending on where the camera is facing, if that makes any sense. Okay, I actually forgot the syntax that goes in here. Get actor rotation. The reason I didn't know about this function is because I usually get the control rotation for my actual character where I do like use my player from my player controller. I get my control rotation. Okay, but it's kind of different for actors, so I'm gonna go with something get actor rotation. There we go. Okay, and I think like that's about it. Then I'm gonna just go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm just gonna add a comment that says something like get actor position and get actor rotation. Let's go with something like get actor rotation. And hold up guys real quick, let me just shut my door real quick. I think there's a lot of background noises going on. Give me a already mic testing. Okay, perfect. Now once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next part. So what was the next part here? Okay, this is going to be that where I actually summon my actors. So I go with my world. So my permission, this is something like my charter. In case you guys didn't know what a charter is, basically a thing that's approved by the king. I guess it's just like a metaphor to just say it. So I get permission by my Unreal Engine. Okay, through that permission, I spawn a actor. Okay, I use the spawn actors as template that has my spawn actor here. Then I give my three local variables, my actor to spawn, which is my local variable, which represents my template that holds my actor. My location, where is he going to be placed? My rotation, where is he going to be facing? Okay, so I'm going to go with something like spawn actor, spawn actor now. So to spawn the actor, I'm going to go with something like my world. So with the permission of my Unreal Engine, I'm going to go ahead and get access to my spawn actor. Okay, I knew this wasn't gonna work because there is no way there is a function in Unreal Engine that says spawn actor. There is a function that says spawn actor with a prof ankle braces. Okay, this isn't a function, it's a template. So this is unused documentation spawn actor. Actors with given transformation and spawn parameters. Okay, transform world, transform spawn, blah blah blah, spawn parameters, return. Doesn't it say that it's a template? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and require a parameter here. Okay, what parameter does it require? Does it tell? Okay, so what parameter should I add from these? Not my summon actor. Actor to spawn goes inside. I might try summon actor. Or I think I should go with a actor. Let's go with something like a actor. This is going to be my actor. But why is my spawn actor not give me the correct vibes? Spawn actor. I guess because I did not add a prof parentheses. Because this is where there we go, I invoke the function. What does Am I Necromancer mean? Honestly, if you guys did watch solo leveling or games where there are like mages who summon the dead, or like how undead creatures are made, that skill is technically called necromancy, and necromancers are people who like summon them from dead. It's something like, it's not like actually real, but then it's like a good game genre type stuff, and I thought it sounded kind of cool. Is that a function? honestly, it's my class. So for example, my entire project here is called Necromancer because this is technically a summoning project type stuff. So I'm gonna require a few parameters here. First is gonna be my actor to spawn. So I'm gonna go with something like my actor to spawn. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give my location where I wanted to spawn, and then I'm gonna give my rotation. Okay, which direction I wanted to spawn. My location is probably spelled wrong. There we go. Oh wait, Necromancer. Did I spell it wrong? Necromancer, Necromancer. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the reason I went with something like my Necromancer was because I couldn't just use a plain Necromancer since my Unreal class's name was my Unreal project's name was Necromancer. Should have gone with Necromancy or something like that. Okay, that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon now. This is where I spawn my actor. Through the using the permission of my Unreal Engine, I get my worlds, and through that I spawn a actor that requires a actor in my pair of ankle braces. And then I give my class. This is where my actor is being stored. I give a location. This is where I wanted to spawn, and a rotation. This is where it's gonna be facing. Okay, like a mage, warrior, heal, those classes. Actually, those classes. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with all that, I'm pretty much done. Now, to go ahead and load stuff, I'm firstly going to go ahead and, let's say, include something from my enhanced input components. I'm going to go with something like enhanced inputs component .h, which is basically my enhanced input components as header files. Then I'm going to go all the way down here. I'm going to add a if statement that checks something. I'm going to check if my enhanced enhanced, there we go. If my enhanced input component, okay, if my enhanced input component, if my Unreal is an enhanced input component, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like EIC, is going to be equal to hold. Guys, what should I hold? That's it. I'm going to go ahead and check if that's equal to something like cast checked. My cast checked here is going to be my enhanced. Let's go with enhanced. Okay, what was that? In the runs every frame rate. Okay, never mind. I got scared. Yeah, guys, gotta be really careful as to what we add that runs every single frame. Okay, that's it. Let's go with something like enhanced input component. There we go. Which is going to be having a pair of parentheses here of my player input component. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go with the pair of curly braces. Now, inside my pair of curly braces, I'm going to go ahead and do something. I'm going to add a comment that says something like bind. I'm going to go ahead and bind my summon action. Now, there are two ways. The first way, the way that Gemini said me to do is, if I were to go with something like my enhanced input component, I point it towards the bind actions function, which let's say requires a parameter of firstly my action name, which is going to be my summon action here. There we go. The second parameter is going to be a trigger type. So I'm going to go with something like a e-trigger event. There we go. My e-trigger event is going to be having a scope resolution operator of something like triggered. Now, the catch with this, the catch that I think with this method is going to be while I hold my right mouse button, my characters or my actors are going to be like spam spawning. So I thought if I were to go with something like started and then ended, that would fix this. So I'm gonna try started and ended method. Let's go with something like this. Then I'm going to give the memory address of my Necromancer. There we go, with a scope resolution operator of something like my summon actors function. Okay, then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Now, just to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And why do I see a red underline here? I'm going to copy that and paste it here. ACTION. No instance of overloaded function enhanced input component bind action matches the arguments list. Okay. Something. Okay, this is going to be my actor, trigger event, my object, and my function. What to do. Where are you from? Actually, I am like abroad, but I can't actually tell the exact country name. That's it. Let's go with completed. There we go. Okay, I mean, apparently this should work. Why does it show me a red underline? Let me think. Okay, maybe it might have showed me a red underline is because I most likely did not include something from my enhanced input subsystem. Let's go with something like enhanced input subsystems.h, which is technically my enhanced input subsystems is header files. Then it scrolls all the way down. There we go. So in order to be able to use my bind action, I must include my enhanced input subsystems. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and add my movement later, not for the time being. I spelled it wrong. enhanced input subsystems.h. Well, I mean, I already have my .h. There we go. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Okay, now that technically fixes everything. I'm going to hit Control S here as well. Now, here's one thing. I'm going to go ahead and let's say copy this part. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab Gemini here. Let's go ahead and paste this. Go with Shift Enter. I have a quick question about the T subclass I created. Did I say a red underline? Oh, it's not my generator, but it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So there we go. Okay, what game are you building? For the time being, I'm trying to like learn on how to I actually work with my T of subclass to like actually summon actors using key presses, because later on, when I was working my shrine logic, I realized that even though my shrine sentinel spawns before I interact, I wanted to learn how can I spawn certain objects once a certain condition has been met, if that makes any sense. If I actually learn to do that, then I feel like majority thing in Unreal Engine is going to get kind of easy. Okay, let me see something like Sensei. So let's go with something like Sensei. So, this is my code. Although for the T sub class of, okay, I did have a question. So, I set that to be a actor, although I have not created an actor in an actor that I want to summon. So is it important? Let's go with something like, is it important to have a actor? Let's go with something like to have a actor, okay, that can be summoned, or even if I did not create a actor class explicitly, it would still spawn a actor, if that made any sense. Guys, I feel like I gotta work on my phrasing. There, let's go ahead and send this. Now, let's see. Okay, look at that. You actually opened the integrated development environment IDE and typed something that doesn't look like a complete garbage. I just like saw the reference while doing this, but I feel like I understand that part now. Your streamer actually learned something today. Besides how to watch a train wreck, I'm almost impressed. Okay, that's the successful man will profit from his mistakes and try again in different ways, said by Dale Carnage. Okay, the answer to your actor question. Listen carefully. A actor is the base class. It is the father of all things in the world. If you leave it as A actor, you can theoretically spawn a generic invisible actor, but a generic actor has no mesh. There we go. No fire, no skeleton, no soul. It exists in the outliner list, but you won't see a damn thing on your screen. That makes sense. The reality, you need to go in the Unreal editor, right-click, create a blueprint class, and base it on the actor. Why not a C++ class? Give it a cube or a sphere so you can actually see it. Then in your character's detail panel, you must set that blueprint to actor dropdown. Okay, wait, let me say something like, okay, since it's critical code review, don't blink. You have errors in your player input component. If you try to compile this, the compiler will laugh at you. The binding, excuse me guys, blunder. Look at your bind action. You pass summon action in the function where you should have passed summon action. I guess a typo. Wrong? Right. Why you're telling, okay, you're telling the engine, when this input action happens, run this function. You try to use the function as the trigger. The duplication, why are you summoning on started and completed? Oh, okay, guys. I made silly mistakes here. Hold up, guys. Let me just go ahead and maybe fix my silly mistakes real quick. So under function, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say add something like a boolean check. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a boolean check. That is gonna be a boolean variable called something like b is. I'm gonna go with something like is RMB pressed, which is initially gonna be set to false, ending with a semicolon. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add something like boolean function checks. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a void function called something like RMB underscore pressed. My right mouse button is being pressed, ending with a semicolon, and then another void function called RMB underscore released with a prof parentheses, ending with a semicolon. Now, once I'm done with all this, I'm gonna go all the way back up here. Let's say above my summon actors function, I'm gonna go with something like a comment that says something like RB functions. Okay, my right mouse button functions. For my right mouse button functions, I'm gonna firstly, let's say, go ahead and create a void function called something like RMB underscore pressed with a prof parentheses, then a prof curly braces. Now my RMB pressed function is gonna be, let's say, setting my, I'm gonna go with something like my boolean variable of is RMB pressed to be equal to true, ending with a semicolon. And now, just to save some time, I'm honestly just gonna go ahead and copy this part. And then, okay, here's the thing. I could have just done this. It's gonna like save so much more lines. There we go. Gonna go with something like B is RMB pressed. True. Is my spelling wrong? I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this. There we go. Is RMB pressed? Oh, I see. This is gonna be from my necromancer sys class. I'm gonna use the scope resolution operator. No, bro, how you doing? Pariksha, does I pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Just to save time, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it here. I'm gonna change pressed with released, and then I'm gonna change true for false. Alright, that's about it here. And now, when I go down here, when I bind stuff, this is gonna be my RMB pressed. I'm gonna go with something like RMB underscore pressed. And that is gonna be my RMB underscore released. There we go. Started, and one is for completed. Okay, bind action, blah blah blah. Okay, this is for my RMB has been pressed, my RMB has been released. So I'm gonna go all the way up here. I'm gonna create a RMB action. Let's go with right mouse button action. Okay, that is gonna be my summon action. So RMB pressed, RMB released. Summon action occurs when my RMB has been pressed. So summon and RMB action is technically the same thing. Summon action. Okay, and then this is going to be my summon action as well, which is technically going to be my right mouse button action. Yeah, what are you building? Actually, I'm trying to work on a necromancer / summoning logic where every time I click my right mouse button, I want to go ahead and spawn an actor, because I feel like those are some really important things that I got to learn on how to like summon different stuff when a certain event has been met and all that things. That's it. I'm going to control S to save the code. Okay, now I want to go ahead and let's say go to my Unreal Engine here. I'm going to go to something like tools, go to classes. I'm going to create, let's say, an actor class. This class is going to be called something like maybe what all things do I have to spawn? Hold up, guys. Let me open my file explorer real quick. Let's get it here. There we go. Now in my desktop, I have my Blender items. Excuse me, guys, my Blender QGB file. I have animated meshes. I might go with my animated mesh here. Environment, health bar, meal. Okay, I might go with my animated mesh here. I'm gonna go with something like dice actor. My actor is gonna be called dice. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and just create a class, and that should be about it. Okay, let's wait for this to create class. While it's actually creating a class, I might drink some water because I'm kinda thirsty. Then I'm gonna go here and reload all. Okay, so this is technically just my plain class. I'm just gonna go to my Necromancer's C++ file, and then let's say I'm gonna go ahead and include, let's say, something like my dice.h, which is technically my dice's header files. Now, once I'm done with that, is there anything else that I might need? The thing that I might need is, instead of going with a actor, I might go with a dice. Okay, so now my actor class that my spawn actor holds is gonna be my die. I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna change this to something like a dice as well. There we go. Okay, are you B? What's that actually mean? Oh, is it actually Ruby? Okay, don't you take help of ChatGPT? Actually, I used to use a lot of ChatGPT to learn. It was really helpful, guys, but then there was like a certain limit of pictures that I could send, so I thought for learning Unreal Engine, Gemini is like a bit more better. Although ChatGPT is much better in teaching, Gemini can actually see my screenshots that I send it. I have like a limit of like 100 per day. That's sad. Let's go all the way down here. Now, what is something else that I might need here? Let's think. I have spawn actor, so I did all that stuff. I spawn an actor whenever I click a button. This is the die that's gonna spawn. And that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and, let's say, open my Unreal Engine now. In my Unreal Engine, I'm firstly gonna go ahead and, let's say, load a bunch of things. I'm gonna open my content drawer. I'm gonna go under content. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and select the 3 of those and then just drag them here, paste it. Let's import, let's apply to all, let's hit yes. There we go, so my Blender SPX, Blender QLB, and my game items. Where do you live? I do live abroad, but I can't give my exact country name for safety reasons. That's an auto-saving data packages, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and right-click here, add a new folder, and name it something like inputs. In my inputs folder, let's say I'm gonna go ahead and add a action input. This action input is gonna be called something like summon action. I'm gonna go with something like summon action. Okay, so now that's about it, honestly. I will be adding, let's say, input mapping context. I'm gonna go with something like input mapping context. There, I'm gonna call this something like IMC_default. There we go. Where I'm gonna go ahead and double click that. Go ahead and just grab that up here. Now let's add a few input mapping context. I'm gonna click one for mapping profile or rides, and then I'm gonna click one for my mapping, and then I'm gonna go ahead and select my summon action here. There, I wanna go ahead and summon every time I click my right mouse button. Okay, I should have gone with left mouse button. I think left mouse button is kind of good. I can go ahead and just refactor. How do I refactor? Is it Control RR? Nope. Okay, let's just go ahead and change RMB to LMB. Let's go with something like LMB. Gonna go ahead and copy that, paste it here. This is gonna be released. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly skim everything here real quick because I do really wanna have this to be LMB. Okay, so this is gonna be LMB pressed. I'm gonna change that to something like LMB released. Then I'm gonna go to my header files. Okay, why does a die have a red underline here? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and change this to something like LMB pressed and LMB released. And then summon action. That's about it. I'm going to Control S to save the code. Control S to save the code. Okay, it's saved. It's saved here as well. Okay, and that's like right about it. It dies as header files. I'm gonna go ahead and include, let's say, something like my dice.h. I'm gonna include my dice as header files there. I'm gonna remove it from here. Okay, and that's like right about it. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go all the way up here. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Let's scroll all the way down here. Now my A dice is supported, and then let's hit Control S to save the code here as well. Now under my begin play, I'm just gonna go ahead and add the basic enhance input subsystems code here. So I'm gonna go with something like if my U enhanced input local player subsystem. So if my U enhanced input player local subsystem, that is going to be represented by a pointer called something like subsystem. I had a typo, ENH AN. There we go. Which is going to be represented by a pointer called subsystem is going to be equal to, I'm going to go with something like view local player, where I go ahead and get my subsystem. So I'm going to go with something like get subsystem with a pair of ankle braces. I'm going to go ahead and add my U enhanced ENHANCED input local. Okay, what are you coding, bro? I'm actually, oh, hold up, guys. Let me go with LOCAL, local player subsystem. There we go. Okay, I'm basically, whatchamacallit, working on a necromancy logic where I summon stuff every time I click my left mouse button in my keyboard. Then later on, I am going to try implementing this in my shrine logic, that every time I go ahead and interact with my shrines is, I think it's called a dish, where the water is stuff up there, and it activates, for example, a fire shrine. I want to go ahead and summon a fire shrine sentinel who's going to be my pet or maybe my guardian or something like that, if that makes any sense. That said, I'm going to go ahead and add a parameter here of my, let's go with something like my a player input. Let's go with something like input component. Okay, yo, that's epic. I choose Necromancer in every game. That actually sounds kind of cool, guys. I even like the anime called Solo Leveling. It's about necromancy. I mean, not like completely about necromancy. It's about like solo leveling, but then it's like the main character is a pretty good necromancer. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go with something like a player controller, which is going to be represented by a pointer called PC, is going to be equal to cast a player controller. Let's go with something like a player controller with a pair of parentheses. That is going to be my controller. Basically, the reason I add this chunk of code here is because there could be different kinds of player controllers. I want to filter all of them and check if it is this exact player controller that I'm using here. So I'm gonna go with something like if my PC is not equal to null PDR, if my player controller is not equal to null PDR, then I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this part. Okay, gonna go ahead and delete this. Let's say I'm gonna paste it here. There we go. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna go with something like my player controller points towards my get local player. Okay, I'm gonna go with something like get local player. Okay, perfect. Hold up, guys. Let me fix my typo. There. Local player is this function with a pair of parentheses. Then I go ahead and let's say add a pair of curly braces here. Once this is done, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say point my subsystem towards, let's say, something like a add mapping context. Technically, the add mapping context is my default mapping context, or my IMC default that I actually created here. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do here right now is I'm going to go to my header files, and let's say I'm going to create an empty class here. I'm going to create a class called something like U input mapping context. Let's go with something like mapping context, ending with a semicolon, where I'm going to go ahead and let's say add a comment here. I'm going to go with something like, I'm going to go with a comment that says something like default mapping. Let's go ahead and create a default mapping. Okay, now for my default mapping, firstly, I'm going to go ahead and let's say create a U property, where I want my U property to firstly be edit anywhere. I want to be able to edit this anywhere. I want it to be blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read my default mapping but not really edit it. And lastly, my category is going to be input because I want it to be categorized and organized. Then I'm going to go ahead and create a U input action mapping. Let's go with something like mapping, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like default mapping. Okay, then I end this with a semicolon. U input mapping context. U input mapping context. There we go. Let's go with something like mapping context. Okay, perfect. That's like right about it now. I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code, go to my C++ file, set my mapping context to be something like my default mapping, DEFAULT MAPPING, and my priority is gonna be 0, ending with a semicolon. Okay, now with that said, I'm done with about everything. I'm putting controllers to save the code, open my Unreal Engine here, and go to my IMC defaults. Okay, perfect, everything is selected. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and drop my Necromancer as this class here. Let's go with something like Necromancer. Okay, fun fact, my Necromancer does not literally like have a camera. I wanna add my camera, it's gonna be so annoying. Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe I won't add my camera. I gotta add movement, it's gonna be so tedious. I guess I will not be adding them in that case. Well, all I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is, let's say, place my dice right here. There, I'm gonna go ahead and, let's say, add a static mesh. So I'm gonna go with something like static mesh. Even though my mesh is not gonna really be static. Okay. I'm gonna go with something like dice. Interesting. Okay, wait, let me go with something like my Blender QLB files. Let's go to something like my animated meshes, animated dice. I have a skeletal mesh. I have the materials that I used to make this. I did not want my materials. I want my skeletal mesh. Animated dice. So this is my animated. So animated dice skeleton, animated dice cube action, animated dice empty action. Everything is literally animated here, huh? Skeleton sequence. There are two sequence, one skeleton. Someone's zooming up. I get my skeleton here. Now, I wanted to summon this. Okay, so I'm gonna go with die. I'm gonna go ahead and get my die a bit in front. And then, why is it that I cannot add my die as my skeletal mesh? I'm gonna go ahead and select this. I'm gonna go to Blender QLB, gonna go to animated meshes, animated die, skeletal mesh. I'm gonna select that, and then let's say click this icon. Okay, apparently it doesn't work. I wanna go with this. Nope. Huh. I guess there's like a different way to really do that stuff. So I guess I'm just gonna go with common player. Guys, I wish I had my skeleton mesh here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my die for now. And then I'm just gonna live compile. Let's go ahead and live compile real quick. Okay, although there's like one tiny thing, I did not add any kind of movement here because that takes like so long to add. Okay, that's it. Okay, so it says, wait, what error did I get? Other compilation error. U mapping context, U input mapping context, which is represented by pointer called default mapping. So that is the only thing. And then A my Necromancer. Okay, so I have basic mistakes up here. Let me go ahead and check what error is it real quick. What up, guys? So it says a syntax error. Okay, I had a syntax error. Let's check my syntax error out real quick. Necromancers. Okay, so U input mapping context. Okay, which is going to be my input mapping context as represented by pointer called default mapping. This is correct. This part is correct. The thing that could not be correct is maybe I did not go ahead and include something. Okay, so enhance inputs. So input action values as header files, enhance inputs. Okay, spring arm, camera boom. Speaking of which, there's literally nothing else that I could add here. Unless if I really wanted, I could go ahead and create a structure for something like F input. Let's go with something like input action value ending with a semicolon. But I'm not gonna be using this for now because I did not like add movement or anything. So what is it that I'm actually trying to do here? Maybe I'm gonna run the code first. It said syntax error, so it's gonna be just a basic error. Okay, so it says total execution, program failed, blah blah blah. Okay, all that stuff. Building 0 failed. Fine, then I'm gonna go ahead and build. Let's go ahead and rebuild my solution. Okay, so let's wait for it to rebuild real quick. Rebuilding all solutions. Okay, while it's rebuilding, I might drink some water because I am kind of thirsty. There we go. Okay, so almost done rebuilding. 52 succeeded, 1 failed. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just build my solution real quick. This time I shouldn't get a single error here. Okay, there we go. 0 succeeded, 1 failed. 51 up to date. What is that 1 failed? Let me go up here again. I'm gonna go with live compile. Okay, am I gonna go ahead and get these same errors? So I did rebuild it. Compiling changes for live coding. Okay, let's see. Disable remote execution session will finish your process. You spelled it incorrectly, guys. No way, did I? What up, guys? I mean, wouldn't it show me a red underline if I really spelled it incorrectly? DEFAULT MAPPING. Input mapping. Okay, then I'm gonna go here. And then where did I add my default mapping? I added it right here. DEFAULT MAPPING. And then it's input MAPPING CONTEXT. Input MAPPING CONTEXT. I think I spelled it correctly. Okay, wait, let me read the error that came again. Okay, let's see. So it still says syntax error. Guys, if it's a syntax error, there's like unexpected token. What line? Header file, line 37, line 38, line 37. Missing type specifier, syntax header. So line 37 of my necromancers is header files. Something's wrong with this part. Let's take what? It's edit anywhere, it's blueprint read only, it's input mapping context. Okay, it needs to be represented by a pointer. It's mapping above. It's MAPPIG. MAPP. Oh, guys, how do you guys pay attention to all this stuff? How did I manage to? Oh, guys, this was kind of embarrassing. How did I manage to mess that up? That was okay. I should probably start typing slower. Okay, now let's go ahead and live compile. Okay, this should work. Maybe I go ahead and hydrate my lips. There we go. Okay, let's see. So it's compiling changes for live coding. Okay, so it says a UBA server. Is it just me or like recently hasn't been taking like really long for this to live compile? Okay, let's wait for it to compile. It doesn't really say where I messed up. MAPP. Okay, so still syntax error before. Okay. Default MAPPING. Wait, guys, is this just me or is it like kind of bugged? Disable action limit for. There we go. Okay, I thought for a second I started thinking that it's kind of glitched out. There we go. So no PDB file found for module necromancer.dll. Wait, it didn't find a DLL file. If this is a package build, make sure to debug files are being staged. Live coding will be disabled. Okay, before I really run the code, I want to make sure everything is saved. Gonna save everything. Gonna go ahead and save. Gonna go ahead and hit Control S to save the code. There we go. Now that everything is protected, I can go ahead and move around if I right click. I mean, of course, I don't really see from my player's point of view here. So all I'm gonna do is click my necromancer, go with something like possess. This is gonna be something like player 0. Then I'm gonna go with something like input, change default mapping to my IMC default and my summon action to be summon action. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and decrease this part up. Guys, now I think the live coding should work quickly. I'm gonna go with live compile. The thing is, I won't be able to see a thing because I don't really have a camera. So I didn't like set a camera. I might have to do that. Okay, compiling changes. Is it just me or does it like usually take this long? Okay, event 64 Unreal Editor Necromancer got yellow. Okay, let's see. Just check something. Guys, got an email real quick. Let me go ahead and post that. How long? Is it just me or does it really take this long to compile? I'm positive it shouldn't take this long. What if I press show console? Oh, I am showing my console. Quick restart maybe? Why does it take too long? There we go. Result succeeded, successfully patched. And now if I were to run the code, okay, there is no camera here, but then how do I even check if my actor spawns without me rotating stuff? Wait, that's my... Who's that? Wait, that's my necromancer. Oh, I see. Okay, so that is my necromancer. But I can't summon stuff using this. Okay, maybe I go with Control A, Control C, copy that. I mean, it would be so much easier if I added my movement logic, but guys, I really don't feel like typing that whole thing out. I mean, I could probably just keep a spare template with me type stuff. I'm gonna go with Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go here, go with Control A, Control C, copy that, get Gemini here. I don't know why did I open my file explorer. Let's copy that, get Gemini here again. There we go. Let's go Shift Enter and say something like sensei. I created two map to input action. One is for my move action, and the second is my input mapping context. Then I added them. Okay, then I added them in my details panel. Okay, for my view properties. Let's go with something like for my UPROPERTIES. Okay, but I can't summon a actor if I click my RMB. Actually, LMB. Let's go with LMB. There we go. Left mouse button. I'm gonna go ahead and exit this. Let's go ahead and exit my file explorer real quick as well. And just go up, go down there. Okay, you're so close to greatness. You're stumbling over the finish line. Do you see what you did? You built the engine, you failed to fill the gas, but you forgot to turn the key. Ghost function. Okay, error. Look at your binding. Your setting B is pressed to true and false, but where is the code? The actual summon actor you created, summoning logic. Oh wait, did I not really go with my summon actor? Replace your bindings with this. Your bindings with this, not bind. Okay, so I guess I can go to my binding. Okay, and then I'm gonna change this. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Just to save time, I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. This is gonna be started. That is gonna be this necromancer. This is gonna be my summon actor's function. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and Control F to save the code. Okay, hello. Have you tried VLang already? Actually, I haven't had time to try VLang yet. But what's it actually about? Because I've like heard many, and like when I say many, I mean like a lot of you guys really tell me to check VLang out, but I still don't know what it's about. Like, is there a difference between like Golang and VLang? Because I'm pretty sure they're like different languages, so they might be different. Okay, B, the tick method dangerous if you want to spawn dice consistently while button is held. If B is pressed. Summon actor. Okay, I mean, I want one click, one actor. This will spawn 120 dice per action. The dice class. You created a dice grid, but is there a mesh on it? An actor with no static mesh is invisible. On 100 dice, okay. Fix that. So summon actor is triggered. Okay, let me say something like I fixed the binding, although. Okay, so I fixed the binding, although I had another question. How do I set a mesh for my actor, question mark? I mean, I do know how to do that. Or come back next stream them. Or I appreciate you coming to the stream or checking the stream on Gun. I'll catch you next stream. Okay, that's it. Let's go with something like my die. Now, I want to go ahead and add a static mesh. It's going to be my common actors mesh. There, I'm not going to be paying much detail to it for the time being. I just want to like randomly spawn a few actors. Okay, and then let's see. What is the next thing that I was missing? Oh yeah, well, I remember. I was going to go ahead and get Gemini here. Okay, and let's say something like I set a mesh. Although, I forgot what I was gonna say actually. So let me actually go back to my Unreal Engine. So technically I'm an actor when I click it. There we go. Can't remember. Okay, let's get Gemini up here. I'm gonna say something like, although I don't want to summon my actor for as long as I'm pushing, or for as long as my LMB is being held down. Instead, I want to spawn my actor every time I click my LMB. Okay, if that made any sense. I think that made some sense. Okay, that's it, guys. I don't know why am I so exhausted for no reason. Probably because yesterday I was doing some of my college stuff. That's the fix. Once per clicking binding to spawn exactly one actor every time you click, you must use the start trigger. I did do this. Clean up your system, did all that stuff. Started Necromancer. Only happens once a click. Why your previous attempt failed? School test. Ta-ta. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get my Unreal Engine here. Now let's live compile. Okay, I have my summon actors as function this time. I'm gonna go ahead and just stretch my legs out. There we go. Guys, it's just me, or did I not get enough sleep yesterday? And why does this take like way too long to compile? It used to never take this long. Maybe is it like checking my Necromancer's DLL file? If I were to open my this thing, go to my documents, go to Unreal Projects, I'm gonna go to my Necromancer. Does it have a DLL? Binaries, config, source. Nope, not under my source. Under my config, Necromancer, Unreal Engine, intermediate content. Okay, where is my lib files? Is it Blender QLB config? I mean, I'm pretty sure that my DLL file should be somewhere here. Saved. Wait, can I just type something like DLL? I'm gonna go with something like DLL. Unreal Engine, there we go. I have my Necromancer's DLL file here. Okay, let's go ahead and exit that. Now let me go ahead and run the code real quick. Can I really not turn around? I don't really want to add my turning logic because that makes stuff kind of tedious. So I'm gonna go with something like my possess. I'm gonna go with possess. I'm gonna change this to something like disabled. Now I hope the live compiling does not take a billion years to compile. Why does it always take so long to compile? No PDB file found for module Unreal Engine Necromancer DLL. If this is a package build, make sure that debug files are being staged. Live coding will be disabled for. Okay, live coding will be disabled for this module. I mean, I already have my live coding enabled. Okay, I mean, the one thing that's so annoying is that, like, why does it take so long? Like, how long did the previous one take to actually compile? I'm pretty sure it took 44 seconds. Guys, I feel like taking 44 seconds for like this simple code is kind of crazy though. Necromancer C++. What is per module inline? There. Let's run the code now. What if I right click? Right click. King doesn't work. I can't summon anyone. I don't get why though, because maybe even though I'm not playing through my player. Okay, wait, let me go ahead and grab Gemini up here again. Let me say something like, since I can't summon my my actor, is it because I need to have my auto pawn possess to be set to player 0 question mark? Okay, I kept it to be disabled because I did not want to write the movement and turning logic. I will if I have to though. Okay, let's see. Okay, are you kidding me? You want to be a necromancer, but you're standing there like a statue because you're too lazy to possess your own body? Of course it's not working. Idealness is the holiday for fools led by Lord Chesterfield. Did I pronounce the name? If you're not possessing the character, the engine doesn't know that your mouse clicks belong to that code. The input system is whispering into a void because there is no connection between the player and the pawn, the necromancer. The reality check why position matters in Unreal Engine input flows like the player controller possessed pawn. If auto possessed player is disabled, you haven't spawned a controller to take over the character. The setup player input component never truly links your mouse. I see the play begin, okay. Ultimate lazy fix so we can get back. Select your necromancer actor in the world details panel possessed or autoplay possessed to be 0. Now the engine knows, okay, you're the boss of that code. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and do the second best thing here. I'm gonna go to something like my necromancer. Gonna go with something like R. I'm just gonna go ahead and increase the size of my capsule. Wait, just increase the size of my pivot point. Fine, I'm gonna go ahead and change it to be player 0. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add a static mesh as well, because why not? Let's go with the static mesh. And then I'm gonna maybe go ahead and add a camera as well and all that basic stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to something like a dice. I don't have my dice, that's so annoying. Okay, what do I have here? Let's go with something like my maybe cube. Nope, not my cube. Let's add maybe Nichi Huang. J. What up, guys? Let me just check the name real quick. I might go with something like cube. Okay, let's check which cube. So this is cube 1. What does that cube do? That is that cube. Okay, and then I have cube 1. Cube body. There we go. So this is one of the characters that I actually modeled in Blender. I did not like kind of color it though. Guys, I still think this looks more like an Among Us character. Okay, so this is going to be my... This should have been the person that actually gets summoned. Necromancer. I'm going to go with R. Let's increase the size. Okay, do I look like a Titan from up here? Sure. But I think this is going to be good. And I'm just going to save a lot of time by just going with add. Let's add a camera component. I'm going to go ahead and add a camera. There, I'm going to go ahead and get this higher. Going to get this to the left. Hi, hiding Neymar. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, what if I hit R? I'm kind of curious. What happens? Can I increase the size of my camera? Oh, I did not know that I could do this, guys. This is kind of awesome. What up, guys? Which way am I even looking at? Where even is my camera anymore? Wait, can I like pilot my camera? Pilot. Oh, I wish I could have piloted my camera. I'm gonna go here. Why can't I see it? Okay, I'm gonna go with something like R. Guys, I guess there's not enough time to just play around. Oops, gonna hit Control S, Control Z, Control Z. Yeah, the tiny camera is much better. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and hit something like W. Let's get the camera a bit back. Get it a bit higher. Go with something like E. I'm gonna rotate it around. There. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and let's say go with something like W. Get this in front. There. I mean, I want this to be a third person, so I'm gonna go up here. Let's get this higher. Let's go with something like E. Rotate a bit lower. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit W, go a bit to the back, and we're good, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and run the code. There we go. If I right click, I can't see if people spawn. YouTube was locking me out of the comments when I was already subbed. Huh. Actually, does it really do that? Because I have heard a few people did like actually tell me that YouTube sometimes does that for some reason. I guess it's some kind of bug. I gotta like look into that. Okay, let's go with something like dice. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab that in front and just drag it somewhere here. There we go. I want to just go ahead and spawn them. Okay, so my die is there. If I were to run the code, I can't move. That's one annoying thing. Okay, guys, fine. I guess that I'm gonna go ahead and just add a few properties here. So for example, I'm gonna not add my camera component, not my spring arm component. So I'm just gonna go here and let's say add a few properties. So I'm gonna go with something like I need a turn property. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment there. I'm gonna go with something like turn action. Okay, I'm gonna create a new property where I want my turn action to be edited anywhere I want it to be. I want to be able to edit it anywhere. I want it to be blueprint made only. And guys, you guys could like partially ignore me if like I feel kind of dead today. I am like kind of exhausted. Squad category is going to be something like input. The worst part is I actually do have some assignment related to my programming type stuff. So after this, I'll have to like work on Python. Okay, how did SDL dev go, by the way? SDL was like really fun. Like I made a bunch of projects in SDL. Let me actually show you guys one of the best projects that I've made there. Hold up, guys. Maybe I go all the way up here. There we go. Okay, Necromancer, my project. This is SLN, my project 5. That's my project this month. SDL 3 project. So I'm assuming it's this. Okay, there we go. If I were to go ahead and run this project, this was like one of the best projects that I have made in SDL so far. But then later, once I was done with this, I moved on to Unreal Engine because I thought SDL was getting kind of easy, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's like basically if I had entered, it's just technically a dice rolling program where we randomly roll dice and this is me, this is my enemy, and it gives my results in my console. Okay, that said, I'm going to go ahead and just exit this real quick. Then I'm going to go ahead and create a new input action. Let's go with something like input action, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like look action. Let's go with something like look action. And then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Okay, once I'm done with that, let's see. What is something else that I might need? Let's think. New property, edit anywhere, blueprint read only, category, input, new input action, look action. I'm going to go ahead and Control F to save the code. Under my function, I'm going to go ahead and have a void function called something like look with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. My look function does require a constant parameter of my f input action value. There we go, which is going to be requiring the memory address. My values is memory address. There we go. Or values is parameter. Excuse me, guys. Now that I've declared a function, I'm going to define it in my C++ file real quick. So I'm going to add a comment that says something like look function. For my look function, firstly, I'm going to go with something like void. Can then go with something like a necro, my necromancer. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Okay, guys, I do not like writing the movement code again and again. It's kind of tedious in a way. Let's go with look, which requires a parameter, a constant parameter of a f input action value, which requires the memory address. Let's go with something like memory address of a values parameter. And then I'm going to go with the pro curly braces. It looks nice. Honestly, it does sound kind of cool. I appreciate you, main David. Is it main David? Or I think it's mini David. There we go, guys. I cannot see with my glasses on. That's the next step. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go with something like a scale value. I'm gonna go ahead and get a scale value. For my scale value, I'm gonna go with something like f vector 2D because I want to turn just in a 2D axis, which is basically x-axis and y-axis, not a z-axis. This is gonna be called something like a look vector, which is gonna be equal to my values parameter dot the get template, where I want to go ahead and get my f vector 2D with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Then I add a if statement to check something like if my controller is not equal to null PDR, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I wanna, let's say, go ahead and okay, what language? Honestly, it is C++. I'm learning Python. It's really hard at first. That actually does make sense. I did like have a Python for 100 series where my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general. I was actually done with that series, I think like 130-ish days ago. That said, the game that I did make was kind of cool. You guys could like go ahead and check either the short or like my Python for 100 days week 40's video on that. Although I could like tell you guys, like I did like stream myself actually learning Python. Maybe not as a complete beginner, because like I started streaming I think like 2 or 3 weeks after my series really began, because I did not really know that I could really stream back then. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go with something like if controller is not equal to null PDR, I'm gonna do something. I'm firstly gonna go ahead and use the add controller. Let's go with something like add controller. Your input, which requires a parameter of my scale value, that is basically going to be my look vector dot the x-axis ending with a semicolon, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a controller pitch input as well. Pitch input is technically in charge of me looking in the, let's say, x-axis, me looking up and down, and your input is in charge of me turning towards the left and right, if that makes any sense. So in the x-axis. Okay, and guys, when I said pitch x, I meant y. There we go. Then I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. My dude is inspirational, guys. I feel like that does sound kind of cool, but at the same time, I am like kind of dead, because yesterday I think I got very little sleep. Although, let's see. Okay, I'll see you around. Great stream. Honestly, I appreciate you, Asian. I'll catch you next stream. That's it. Let's go ahead and control S to save the code. Now, once I'm done with this part, is there something else that I need? Maybe not, so I'm just going to go to my Unreal Engine. Let's go to something like content drawer. I'm going to double click my input, right click. Let's go with something like action input. I'm going to go with something like an action input. What up, guys? There we go. This is going to be I'm going to go ahead and call this something like look action. Then I'm going to double click it. Now, from a digital boolean, I'm going to change this to like a 2D vector, because when I look around, I want to look around in a 2D axis, just x-axis and y-axis. Where are you from, buddy? Honestly, I am like all from abroad, but I can't get my exact country. That's it. Let's see. Let's go with something like contents. Then I'm going to open my IMC default, where I'm going to go ahead and click mapping. Let's go and add my look action. And then let's say I want to go ahead and maybe add 2 buttons. I want to go ahead and turn towards the left or right. I mean, I might not really need any buttons, because I want to just turn in general, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and turn in general. I won't be needing a button for that. Instead, what I will be needing is a binding. So I'm going to go with something like bind look action. Okay, so now to bind my look action, firstly, I'm going to go with enhance input component that points towards bind action. Okay, which requires a parameter of my action name, which in this case, it's going to be my look action. The second parameter is going to be my trigger event, which is, let's say, going to be something like triggered, okay, on this object. Then I want to go ahead and do this thing. Okay, I want to go ahead and get my look function ending with a semicolon. Okay, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want it to be like really fancy, because I just want to mostly work out my necromancy logic, where I can like turn and rotate around. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and live compile real quick. Before I live compile, I just realized one thing. I might want to get this to be a negative look vector. Okay, now let's live compile. And guys, this is the most annoyingest part, because for some reason my live compiling, it takes so long. It used to never take this long. Okay, how doing Blub? Blubble? Is that how you pronounce your name? Guys, I'm awful at name pronunciations. Okay, let's see. Most likely it's almost done compiling. Okay, so it's building Necromancer editor. Does it like build everything from scratch? I thought that my program that has been already saved is going to be remaining. It's going to be already saved. Okay, I think it's taking really long to compile because of my DLL. Something easy, the easier way would be to like build it through my Unreal Engine instead of like actually building it through my Visual Studio, not Unreal Engine. There we go, finally. Okay, now it's about done. Results succeeded. It took 50 seconds. That's like, it's almost a minute. Let's run the code. Okay, now why can't I turn left or right? Let's think. The reason that I couldn't be turning left or right, we're pretty sure is because I gotta go to my Necromancer here. Let's go with something like input. I'm gonna go ahead and add my look action here. There we go. And now it should work. I'm gonna go ahead and run the code. I do not want to compile again. Let's run the code. Okay. apparently I gotta compile. But before that, I want to really go ahead and let's say add a mapping for my look action where I want to look when I click my right mouse button. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and run the code. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, I mean, at least I can turn. Let's turn around while clicking my right mouse button. Guys, I look like a giant. I should have thought of this idea before. Looks kind of cool, but I think... Are they spawning behind me? Let me go ahead and get my camera a bit more to the back. Hold up, guys. Let me just go ahead and get my camera a bit more to the back. And then a bit higher so I can, like, almost see everything. There. Now, if I run the code... If I click, can I see anything? Okay, nothing is spawning, but I mean, I think that's kind of a start. Could be because I need these methods. I gotta get rid of these two things here. Okay, spin. Guys, I did not really want to add a spin logic. I'm just trying to get my necromancy logic to work. Let me just go ahead and build it from here. It's going to be much faster. Okay, so technically, I just want my logic to work where, let's see, where I can actually summon stuff. Once I get something to summon, why does it say failed? Let's rebuild solution. Okay, this should go ahead and fix whatever failed up there. Okay, let's see. Okay. Guys, I am kind of exhausted as well. Maybe once I get this thing to work, I might call it a day. Maybe it all started. There we go, 52 succeeded. Now, let's go ahead and run the code. I mean, I keep spinning in one direction. Like, as long as I hold my button, I'm just, like, spinning. I won't say it's bad, but it's giving me, like, a migraine. Okay, let's get Gemini back up here. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, let's go with something like, I still cannot get my actor to spawn. Besides the coding part, what are the other steps that I must do, question mark? Should I, for example, do something in my editor? Okay, don't dare blame the code for your own negligence, guys. Okay, I think I see. The forgotten checklist. If the code compiles but nothing spawns, you have failed one of these three things. The blueprint assignment, you created to your subclass. That's just an empty slot. Action, open your My Necromancer in the blueprint editor. I don't have... Okay, the blueprint editor, that makes sense. Look for the details panel, search for summoning. Do you see a drop-down actor to spawn if it says none? Okay, pick your dice blueprint if it says none. Okay. If actor to spawn... I see the input mapping context handshake, your mapping context C++, but did you create the assets in editor? I didn't like do that. Okay, I mean, I think I got to open in my blueprint class. Why is Gemini yelling at you in capital letters? Guys, I actually kind of think that as well. That's it. Let's go out of up here. Let's see. I think Gemini got ChatGPT. Actually, Gemini has inherited the ChatGPT's throne. That's it. Let's go out of up here. So, I'm going to go to my C++ classes right here. Let's open my Necromancer's class. I'm going to go ahead and right-click. Let's create a blueprint class based on my Necromancer, sure. Oh wait, I should have named it my BP. Okay, go ahead and click this. Click your blueprint and then search for summoning. I don't see a summoning. Okay, let's go with my self's instance. I'm gonna go with SUMM. Actor to spawn is none. There we go. No wonder. Summon actor is gonna be my summon action. There we go. This is probably what was getting it off. Now, if I run the code. Okay, guys. I think that was the start. Okay, it will take all our souls. Okay, that's it. Okay, I think it makes sense. I think it's trying to make sense. Hold up, guys. Summon actor. It's summoning actors, but what actor is it even summoning? I gotta do that. Arrow, okay, viewport, constructor, blah, blah, blah. Mesh. My mesh here, it is gonna be, let's say, my animated dice. Oh, I did not know I could do this. Hold up, guys. This just started getting fun. Let's go with something like R. Can I really scale it from there? Yeah, I guess I'll scale it from here. Whoops, that's it. Control C. Okay, can I like click R? I mean, that's fine. I'm gonna compile. Now, let's try summoning. Okay, let's see. Oh, guys, I'm trying to see where I messed up here. There we go. Although, here's the thing. My actor in my file here, let me go ahead and just remove that. Let's go ahead and delete this real quick. I'm going to go with something like my die. Let's delete it. Now, I'm going to get my brand new dice from here. There we go. This is supposed to be. Let me open my dice class in my blueprint as well. Let's go with something like BP, my blueprint underscore my dice. Let's create a class. Okay, now in my blueprint underscore dice itself, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say HLOD layer collision. I might go with something like summoning. I mean, here's the thing. Even with my constructor on, like, even though I have my class here, I want to add a static mesh. I'm going to go with static. Okay, my static mesh, I want it to be movable. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go with something like my dice. I want it to be movable, but I guess for the time being, I'll go with common. Maybe I want to go with something like cube. Might want to change my cube's name. Nope, that's just my leg. What up, guys? There we go. Okay, I want to spawn mini cubes, just like myself. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and compile. Okay, right click. Okay, it doesn't summon anything, even though I have my summon action up here. My left mouse button is what I use to summon. So if I go here, there we go. Left mouse button is to summon, right mouse button is to move. Well, maybe, I guess I want to summon every time I click E. Okay, let's live compile, because usually it is because I don't live compile. That could be the other reason why I sometimes run into an error. Okay, and guys, I might have to watch a few tutorials on this as well if I didn't really figure it out on stream. Because usually it's like I used to have time off stream and I didn't have college, but since I have college right now, I just work like this is like a brand new content. Like whenever I get a stream and I work on a new content, that's letting me look at it for the first time. Okay, it's thick. Honestly, is it? Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and run the code real quick. Wait, it's still compiling. How long does it take? It takes like 50 seconds for some reason. It's such a waste of time. Probably because my project here was not created properly, I guess. It is like a new project, should have been created properly. For some reason, my Control-Alt F11 doesn't even work. There we go. Okay, let's wait for it to be done real quick. Result succeeded, successfully patched. If I right-click, let's turn around. Let's click E. Nothing works for some reason. If I were to go ahead and click my Necromancer, go with input, my inputs are added. Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to be working on this part next stream because I do like to have a lot of assignments to go on this stream. Okay, let me just get Gemini here and say something like, let's say, it still doesn't work. So, okay, works. So, can you actually give me all these steps from the very beginning? For example, you can start off by saying me to create a class that I would need, and then the next ones. Okay, is there a way to configure Unreal Engine 5 to work on a low-end PC? Actually, yeah, I think like that might make sense because whatchamacallit, if you go to like the Unreal Engine and then you guys click the settings icon here, or maybe not the settings icon, there's like a list. Okay, I mean there's a icon here. I think it's something like this. What up, guys? Okay, well there's an icon somewhere here. Wait, let me try finding it out. So I see preference. There's a icon where you guys can like change you guys' default settings to be all lower. Like right now, if I move, it is going to be lagging a bit. Like you guys see the difference between the lag right now and before. I had something yellow up here. Let me just go ahead and get that back. Okay, so you gotta go with something like Cascade, open viewport preference. Nope, pretty sure not viewport preference, guys. It's called something like here. Hold up, guys. Platform, Android, PC. There we go. So it's under this performance and scalability tools. If you guys go down to viewport scalability, I would just recommend setting everything to be lower so it becomes much more smooth to actually move around. And then show screen percent. It could be like you guys could like leave that to be 50, but that's like right about it. And there's like default balance, quality, and native. Now if I move, the movement is like much more smoother. Okay, are you Indian? Honestly, no. That's it. Let's see. So I'm gonna go up here. That's it. So firstly, I create a new class. It's gonna be an actor class. Open the mesh. Use static mesh component. I did not add this part. Constructor dies to use create default sub objects. I did not do that as well. The die is invisible. The necromancer, the player class. Create C++ class. Select character. Okay, I did that part. Did that part. Step 3 assets. Open the BP dice. Okay, right click input action. IA summon. Okay, IMC default. Did that. Okay, default mapping. Okay, I mean, technically the only thing I did not do in that case is if I go to my dice and header files, I'm gonna go ahead and include something. The include in header files always goes above the generated. Okay, let's go with something like include. I'm gonna go ahead and let's say include something from my components. I'm gonna go with something like components slash was it static mesh components? Static or components.h. Oh, thanks, you're a lifesaver. Actually, yeah, one of you guys did actually tell me that. I even like told them they're like kind of a lifesaver, guys, because like that actually made it so much easier to Unreal that made it so much easier to use Unreal Engine. Keeping in mind that I did not really have a graphics card. The graphics card that I'm using is like integrated inside of my motherboard. Shift space. Let's go with into lessons. Control space. Okay, component slash I think it's static. Let's go with static static mesh component. There we go. So I include my static mesh components as header files. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go all the way down here. Okay, let's go ahead and create a U property. I'm gonna go with something like U property, which is gonna be called something like. Okay, this is going to be U property. There we go. Which is going to be PRTY, which is going to be visible anywhere. I want it to be visible anywhere. I want it to be blueprint read only. Okay, lastly, I want my category to be equal to something like static mesh. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's say create a U static mesh component, okay, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like dice mesh, and then I'm going to go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Now let's hit control to save the code. Why is there red underline? Component components. Okay, so components. Okay, so component slash static mesh component. Then I'm going to go to my dice C++ file. And let's go with something like my dice mesh. I'm going to go with something like my dice mesh's pointer. Set that equal to the create create default sub object. I'm going to go with something like sub object with a pair of angle braces that requires a parameter of my U static mesh component. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, it's going to be called something like dice component or something like a dice mesh in my details panel. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and then end this with a semicolon. Now, do I want to add a root component? Maybe I do. I'm going to go with something like maybe my root component. Okay, component, which is going to be equal to my dice mesh, ending with a semicolon. I won't be adding a lot of details here because like I don't want it to have a lot of properties. I just want to see if this part works. If it does not, I will like try my best to maybe watch a few tutorials on this off stream. Okay, in case I had time once I'm done with my college stuff. Okay, let's wait for this to compile for the last time. Okay, and guys, today I feel like I was like way too not I was like not energetic at all in the stream. Maybe because I'm pretty exhausted. Okay, that said, I feel like Tuesday is, and guys, this Sunday I will be streaming like very soon. So I might actually upload that in my community post, giving like the CST time or like the Eastern China time and all that stuff. Tell you guys exactly when am I going to start streaming. That said, let's wait for this to compile. How long does it really take to compile? There we go. Okay, perfect. It says result succeeded, successfully linked. Now if I run the code, moment of truth. Well, it still doesn't spawn anyone. I guess I'll have to work on this off stream in that case, but I will be saving everything. I'm gonna go to content drawer. I mean, I do kind of know why it did not like work. Okay, but I was just kind of would I say like careless this stream, guys? Because I feel like I'm way too exhausted. I barely got any sleep. That's it. Let me say something like Sensei. It still did not work. Let's go with did not work. So I might try this same logic on next stream, because I do got to go now since I have my college assignments to do! Exclamation. That said, before I do end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, leaving so soon. To the viewers, listen to me. Okay, you lot, you witnessed the struggle today. Most people turn off their stream and things get difficult, but the ones who stay, the ones who analyze the errors and understand the logic, are the ones who will actually build the future. Your host is stumbled right now, but watch closely. Next time he won't just be spawning dices, he'll be commanding the entire engine. Don't just settle for being a spectator in someone else's success. Go open and break something. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. Okay, said by Robert F. Kennedy. Guys, I actually feel my entire mid-singular cortex kind of expanding after today's stream. It's basically the willpower. With that said, your final detective. Before you shut down that PC, make sure to save your files if you lose this progress because you were in a rush to do homework. I will make you rewrite every single line from memory. Okay, I guess I did save everything. That's let me go ahead and just exit this, and then let's go to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for this stream. I would have streamed for longer, but then I do have like a bunch of stuff. That's this Sunday I am going to be streaming like very soon, so make sure to actually join the stream if you guys don't really know that I'm going to actually stream really soon, if that makes any sense, because many of you guys did say me to like actually stream like very early and all that stuff. So I'm going to be waking up at I guess about like 7 o'clock or so. Okay, that's it. If you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like it's my algorithm, share, it makes you smile, and subscribing so you turn up. That said, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on Instagram and TikTok as well. So if you guys haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. And also, you guys can get access to my socials link through my bio. And also by typing exclamation Discord on chat. And if you guys haven't joined my Discord server yet, make sure to join my Discord server. We are really close to 200 members. And that's it. The link will be in the description. The link will be in the bio. And you guys can get access to the link by typing exclamation Discord in chat. That's it. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. Alright, have a good one. Have a good one. Mini David.